Hello, hello. We're
Hey,
back.
Roller Coaster, how's it going?
It's going good, Woke Flossie. How are you? How's the commentating been?
Pretty good. It's been fun so far.
Nice.
I've been enjoying
nice.
these games.
Yeah,
And
it's
it
good
looks
stuff.
like next we're going to have two of my absolute favorite battlers in the Discord. I really like these two.
Yeah, White Tigers and Bat.
Yep.
I saw. Okay, so I don't talk in chats that often. I'm just not good at communicating through instant messaging without sounding like a robot. But I did enjoy everyone spamming the copy pastas that Charisma got of the Long Live Spain, but especially Bat sent a custom one that was like, I'm leaving your stream, your players have no skill, they use Whale Lord and Lillipup and you hit sheer colds.
What? What stream is this? Sounds awful.
Okay, well, looks like we got the matchup. So let's talk about the teams here. Tigers has Whimsicott, Nihilego, Thunderous, Heatran, Rotom Wash, and Celesteela. While Bat has Clesterior, Dusclops, Tapu Fini, Incineroar, Landorus, and Regieleki. What do you think, Woke Flossie?
I think I see sort of an interesting item on that glass chair. I'm used to seeing them with weakness policies and life orbs, but to see it with an assault vest is not unheard of, but also not the most common thing. So I think that's interesting.
Glesterier's like worst stat is its special defense of like the ones that you apply practically to it, and it's so bulky already. So putting like an assault vest on it lets you run like all four of the coverage moves that Glesterior likes: Ice Stab, Fighting to increase your attack output, Steel to increase your defense, and then Quake to increase whatever your special defense is. So it's a solid item, and it's definitely pairs well with like Haze Dusclops.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like that we might see a similar Trick Room mode from Bat that we saw in the last game. While Tigers looks to have some, doesn't really want to be operating in Trick Room, it doesn't look like. So we'll see what Tigers, while he leads Whimsicott and Thunderous, what his answer might be.
Yeah, usually with these teams you see something like Taunt Whimsicott to get rid of anything setting up Trick Room like that. It looks like Bat has chosen to just lead the Ice Force, which is obviously very threatening to both of these Pokemon, both being weak to ice and neither one having a fast way through Glisterior. But
but if you're expecting that taunt into the Dusclops, then I don't know, you might not want it to be in this position right now.
This might be a great time to like maybe switch out Dusclops or like even just kind of test the waters to actually see if they have taunt. Sometimes it's nice to like keep people honest. And okay, Tiger's gonna opt to take out the Thunderous, make sure he wants to keep it in the back. Bat is just going straight for the Dynamax. If this is an ice move, if this is an ice move into the Thunderous, that was a great switch by Tigers, but that Whimsicott is also very threatened.
Yeah, and something like a max Hailstorm here into the Whimsicott. Whimsicott is usually carrying one of two items. It's either a Focus Sash or an Eject button. And we do see the taunt come out from the Whimsicott. But if this Glacier has gone for a Hailstorm into the Whimsicott, oh, nope, it's into the Heatran. But it would have taken out the Whimsicott in one turn because of the hail damage. Yeah. Presuming it's a Focus Sash.
And that also could have been like a tactical decision of like, well, I want to get the Chilling Neigh boost, so I don't want to KO you with ice damage. I want to KO you myself.
Straight out, yeah, that makes sense. And we do see the Dusclops not go for Trick Room, but instead go for Nightshade.
Yeah, so a great read into like, I don't think I'm setting up Trick Room here. So now, Bat probably wants to reposition her Dusclops. Whimsicott can be very easily taken care of. Something really scary though would be something like a Fake Tears and a Heat Wave, or a Fake Tears and a Max Flare, or even a Max Steel Spike into the Glisterior. That could be really rough, and even Tigers could be like, okay, well you're already max now, so I'm gonna dance around this a little more because I don't think you're going for another Ice move into the Heatran, and like switch back to the Thunderous.
Yeah, that could be an option here. Let's see. It looks like we might see another Nightshade from the Dusclops. Oh, did it feed? Oh, it was frozen for me for a second.
I think it's a little choppy right now, but nothing that we can't work with.
Nah, it's all good. As long as somebody knows what's happening, it's all good.
Right? Okay, so Tigers is going for the Dynamax. My guess this would be a Steel Spike and a Fake Tears into the Glisterior. We'll get a nice long look at his trainer animation. There we go.
Wearing that Raihan gear, the Dragon type trainer. I think that's whose it is, right? The uniform?
Yeah. The interesting thing about that is with the Assault Vest, I'm not entirely sure this Heatran will get the KO. Ooh,
I know.
With the Helping Hand, definitely won't get the KO. So Steel Spike comes out into the Dusclops, actually. I really like that play for maybe trying to predict and protect, not wanting to trigger weakness policy. Tigers might know that it's not going to KO. And back going for her own Steel Spike into the Whimsicott.
Yeah, and that is going to go ahead and pick up the Whimsicott and give the Glastrier that Chilling Neigh boost that we were talking about.
Yeah. So now, Tigers' Heatran is at +1 defense. Bat's Glisterior is at +1 attack, so that it kind of evens each other out. It looks like Tigers just wants to get rid of this Dusclops as soon as possible. Make sure that like Trick Room is just not an option for Bat.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because it looks like Bat doesn't have redirection, so she can't like redirect the taunt, and her fake out user is an Incineroar, and you don't want to lead that into the Thundurus. Although I think that Dusclops may survive like a max Airstream or a max Lightning. If you get crit though, that'd be pretty bad.
Yeah. Let's see. It looks like the feed is a little bit choppy for me right now, but maybe we're gonna see a Max Quake into that Heatran.
Yeah, Max Quake into the Heatran seems really free. I don't think the Tigers is gonna switch it out into to the Thundurus even because it's maxed. It's potentially carrying something like a Sugar Berry, and because it's +1 defense, I think it should be able to survive.
Should survive, yeah.
The thing that's going to be scary right now is that like Bat needs to attack this Heatran and get damage off of it, just to make sure that it doesn't kill her Glisterior. But like in the meantime, it's giving defense boost to the Celesteela. If it goes for something like a sub this turn, that can be really hard to deal with later on in the game.
Yeah, very true. And it does look like that the Heatran did go ahead and go for that Steel Spike, and we see the Celesteela get behind a substitute. And there we see the Sugar Berry.
Yeah, this probably isn't going to KO. Bat would need something like a crit to get it. It looks like she did not get it. The special defense boost is really good on the Glisterior. It means that this Heatran isn't KOing. Okay, something that like I would do that I don't think White Tigers is gonna do, and it'd be kind of an insane play to predict. So I think that Bat is gonna go for a high horsepower into the Heatran and a parting shot into the Heatran. You know what would be a really good counter to that?
What?
You switch in your Thundurus, you don't take the Quake, you end up getting +2. It'd be kind of bananas, but like...
But, you know, sometimes, like, switching out your Dynamax is not a big problem.
Yeah, I mean, Dynamax is over from that side. Like, Tigers has the Dynamax advantage right now. Does he need another Steel Spike boost onto his Celesteela? I don't think so.
Yeah, and it's already behind a substitute, so it's not like the Glastrier, I guess maybe we'll see a double target into the Celesteela, because it might be a free move from the Heatran. I don't know. You could be giving up potentially one of your Dynamax moves for no reason if they do double into that Celesteela.
Celesteela goes for the protect, so even if there is double up going into the Celesteela, it's not happening.
Nope.
Max Flare is going to come out into the Glisterior with the Assault Vest. It is going to live. Is it going to live it?
Yeah, I think it did. And it's at +2 special defense. Is it +2? Maybe it's just +1.
It's just +1, but it does have the Assault Vest, so it's basically +2.
Yeah.
and a high horsepower goes into the He-Ran. So not a parting shot, but I still think that if my play worked, it would have been sick.
Yeah. And Glastrier is going to go ahead and pick up another Chilling Neigh. That's really what Glastrier wants to do, is to pick up those KOs and get those attack boosts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so now the scary thing is that flare didn't kill, but it did a lot of damage, and Glastrier is definitely in range of, I assume the Celestial is carrying a heavy slam. It could be flash cannon. I assume either one of those would work. Sub-C defense boosted Sally, like, it's a cool set. I enjoy playing it a lot. Fair get out of here. Celestial is where it's at.
Yeah, of course, Celesteela having access to those flying type super effective moves too is pretty nice. Also, some of them carry a flamethrower, fire techniques, which is also handy.
Mm-hmm. So, I think that because Bat has like a really solid Pokemon advantage, even though like her team is very low on like her Glastriers at half. Superpower goes in. Ooh, dang, Glastrier lives!
Yeah.
That is a really clutch survival, which means that Celestial has to have doubled into this Glastrier in order to get the KO, and I think it did go for a Leech Seed into the Incineroar.
Into the Incineroar, but the good news is that Celesteela is still behind a substitute, and it has Protect. So it might be able to do some things, and also the Incineroar is being chipped away, turn after turn.
And Bat's ice move of choice is revealed to be Icicle Spear, of which the first one will break the sub, and the next two, she only gets two, which is unfortunate, but it's extra chip damage into the Celesteela, which is really good.
Yeah.
So now, because Bat has such an advantage with Pokemon, she might want to just actually no, like you can just Flare Blitz the Celesteela. I'm crazy, but like, you know, I take your time at this point. Tigers definitely can win the game because Celesteela is like that much of a monster. Oh yeah, Turtle's talking. Yeah, Celesteela can definitely clutch this out.
Yeah. I think especially if we see some good predictions, maybe launching some Leech Seeds into something that might switch in. I don't know that Bat's really going to do anything to switch here, but maybe getting lucky with a Protect or two.
It can be the wisest creatures at times. They can. You seen Avatar? There was that whole lion turtle thing. It was super wise. Tigers just goes for the Protect. Good play. You get you stall out Sunmore, you get some Leech Seed chip onto the Incineroar. Great stuff. Close combat, it's definitely going to break the sub if Tigers goes for another sub. He really needs to like go for the KO onto this Glastrier this next turn. Bat probably wants to start considering a timer stall condition. Ooh, Picky Berry, very clutch right now.
Yeah. Incineroar is going to boost itself up to about half HP.
Yeah, and this is kind of like you want to deny the sub, but okay, Tigers says that just determines that this is not winnable without an insane amount of effort, so he's just going to call the game there. And game one goes to Bat. Yeah.
I think that was really good from both players. If you're Tigers, what do you think you do in the next game?
I think the Tigers like played really well. He played very reasonably conservatively. Like you don't want to trigger a weakness policy into the Glastrier, which it turned out that Bat did not have, and she was Assault Vest. So I would say, I imagine it's going to be a very similar game plan, but this time attacking the Glastrier instead of just leaving it alone, because like getting the damage off onto it and getting the defense boost onto your Celesteela is going to really set you up nice for the end game.
Yeah, now you know you can hit it super effectively without worrying about boosting its attack. You do want to get rid of it though before it can pick up a couple of those Chilling Neighs, which in a sense gives it like a weakness policy and an assault vest, and that's kind of where Tigers got into trouble last time.
Yeah. And then from Beth's perspective, she could play this game again and then just go for a couple of more like hard reads. Like it's something that's kind of scary, but like maybe I think that like Tigers' turn one play is like what you go for every time you switch to Heatran and you taunt the Dusclops. And like going like really aggressive, and if you get a read right there, like switching to Incineroar because Dusclops will switch in after the Thundurus comes out. After the Thundurus leaves, sorry, so it won't get the Defiant boost. And then like going for like a Hailstorm into the Whimsicott, take it down to Sash. But it is scary because like it's one of those things where like, okay, if I get this right, I think I just win the game immediately. But if I get this wrong, I probably just lose.
Yeah, but sometimes when you're up a game, those are the kind of risks that you can afford to take.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love taking those risks in games.
Yeah,
I'm like,
fun.
okay.
I play safe a lot though, but it is fun.
I played Alex12, who I don't know if they're in their chat in the chat, but they are in the Discord server in general. Very good player. I remember, this is just an example of this. He was running Diggersby Togekiss at the time. God, I miss Series 3. And game one, I like went for kind of the safe plays. I did kind of like some standard stuff. I played conservatively, and at the time I was running a special Dragapult with Hydro Pump.
Oh my!
And game one, Alex didn't follow me with the Togekiss, and I was like, I'm going for Helping Hand Max Geyser into the Diggersby, and I think if I get this, I just like win the game immediately.
Yeah.
And like it's such like a thrilling experience when you're like, okay, I'm gonna go for it.
Like, why in the world would you click that other than you're predicting that Togekiss is not going to follow me? Good call.
Yeah, and I got so excited when the follow me animation didn't happen, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. Here we go.
You're like, you're kidding. I got that. That's cool.
Making reads, and there is like such a thing as like playing too safe. Like I've lost games because like I made the safe play, and it did cover the options for the turn, but like it didn't get me through the game in general.
Right.
But speaking of games, let's get to game 2 here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tigers is gonna go. Ooh, Whimsicott and Heatran.
Okay. Just leading with the Heatran.
And Bat calls this and leads Dusclops Incineroar, which is going to put Tigers in a rough position immediately because Fake Out Trick Room is definitely the play that you go for right now.
That's what's coming, it looks like. And if Tigers had led, the Thundurus like last game, that Defiant boost would have been huge. Yeah.
So, huge play here. Just switching out the Whimsicott, wanting to preserve as long as possible, getting in the Celesteela. Tigers is still gonna try to position himself. Ooh, just going for the immediate max on the Heatran and potentially giving some defensive boost to the Celesteela.
All right, that's interesting. Maybe Tigers is just resolved to play in Trick Room and see if he can't do something before the Glastrier can really get into the game and get going.
Yeah, if Tigers is able to like get through the Trick Room turns like without letting the Glastrier in, and just giving the defensive boost to the Celesteela, which it's kind of good that this doesn't KO.
Right.
Who do you remember who was faster between Incineroar and the Celesteela?
I think the Celesteela, but I'm not sure. I could be wrong. That is going to be enough to proc that Biggie Berry.
Yeah, so like something like protecting another Quake or protecting a Steel Spike into Dusclops, just trying to make your Celesteela like unbreakable, stalling out the Trick Room turns and chipping down these two leads as much as you can so that like when Trick Room is over, you can kind of like go from there.
Yeah, exactly. And remember, this Celesteela does have Leech Seed, Protect, and Substitute. It's a Sub-Seed Celesteela. So you get a couple defense boosts on it, and it's going to be a pain to kill, especially when Incineroar is probably one of your best answers to it.
Nightshade coming out into the Celesteela, it protects, obviously you want to chip that as much as possible, make it as hard as it can be to set up a substitute. Snarl comes out, does connect with the Heatran, which is very good for Bat. Heatran's at -1 special attack. Steel Spike coming out, getting the defense boost into the Dusclops.
Very interesting choice. I like it. I agree with it. Not wanting to KO that Incineroar yet, getting a physical defense boost on both of your Pokemon on the field. Just kind of eating through these turns of Trick Room before that Glastrier can get down to business.
Yeah, and this is the position I find myself in a lot when I play Trick Room. Bat has Parting Shot on her Incineroar, but because you're going first, it's really scary to go for the Parting Shot. Oh no, Tiger switches out the Celesteela.
Oh wow, interesting.
And into the Thundurus, very interesting. Maybe like afraid of a Flare Blitz. Parting Shot comes into the Heatran. They wanted to catch the Snarl. Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, but Bat didn't go for the Snarl. Maybe thinking that like its only pivoting move was U-turn and it didn't have Parting Shot. So a read going pretty south. If this was a Steel Spike, I doubt it was into the Incineroar. Yeah, it's just into the Dusclops again. Which means that Bat has a pretty free Hailstorm into that Thundurus spot, because even like if you Nightshade and Hailstorm, even Celesteela is going to take a lot from that.
Yeah, it's very true. Still have 2 turns of Trick Room, I believe that's said. And remember, Bat hasn't even Dynamax, not even used a turn of Dynamax at all, while Tigers has already burned through all 3 turns.
Yes, so this is a super rough position. Switching out that Celesteela may have cost the game. Oh, thank you for the follow. Infernape is great. Is that what it is? Infernape grape? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Infernape eat grape. Got it.
That's a fun name.
Oh, you were in the Pokepod stuff, right? Okay, so Ice-Horse is gonna Dynamax. Thundurus is going to go for a Protect. I'd say that's a pretty solid play. Switching into a Ground Immunity. Haze comes out, trying to get rid of the defensive boosts that were on the Heatran at the time, but is no longer here. Knuckle going into the Celesteela. Does solid damage.
Yeah, and it's also going to boost the attack of that Glastrier by 1 stage.
Oh, also someone named Shal VGC followed. Thank you. We appreciate it. So Bat is in a solid position. She has the Dynamax advantage. She has Trick Room up. Her horse is at +1. But Tigers can still do a lot of repositioning because now it's like the attacks are scary. Bat doesn't really have like a safe attack into anything. Like Thundurus could switch out for Heatran,
right.
Celesteela could Protect, Celesteela could switch in for Heatran, he could just sack the Whimsicott at any point. Bat really needs to get these next couple attacks right to keep the momentum going.
Yeah, and I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, the last turn of Trick Room. So after this turn, the speeds are going to be going back to where the fastest Pokemon moves first. And we do see the Hailstorm from that Glastrier into the Heatran, which is going to survive because that damage is resistant. Yeah.
Tiger's going for the exact same play last time. Leech Seed into the Glastrier. Everyone get comfortable because there's a good chance that Celesteela is going to drag this one out.
Yeah, that's why I was really surprised to see that switch out. Although in the end, how much longer could it have lasted with them? A couple of defense boosts. But we'll see. It's got a way of sustainably replenishing its HP. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Celesteela doing Celesteela things indeed.
Yeah.
So potentially something that Tigers can do is substitute with Celesteela and switch into Thunderous. That's just like it's one of those moves that like you have to make the read. Ooh, that misses
the miss on the heat wave. Yeah.
Heavy slam into the Dusclops though.
Yeah,
Is it enough to get the KO? I think that was the target that he really wanted. Oh no, Dusclops barely survives.
And looks like the Hailstorm is going to go ahead and go into the Celesteela and be able to pick that up. And meanwhile, Glacier is going to get another Chilling Neigh. Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't enough to pick it up, but the Dusclops is going to finish it off with the Nightshade.
Which I forget how Leech Seed mechanics work sometimes. I don't know if the partner that comes in will get the Leech Seed boost. Bat really should not go into Incineroar here. Well, never mind.
Yeah, it's going to give Thunderous that Defiant boost, and now Trick Room is off the table.
Yep, here comes Thunderous. Partner who comes in gets it. Thank you, Turtle Mania. I appreciate that. So Leech Seed damage is still going to be coming off into this Thunderous. Intimidate coming in at a really bad time. Getting the Defiant boost onto the attacks. So something like just a double protect seems really safe this turn because Bat does not have Dusclops to set Trick Room anymore.
Yep, and now Glacier's Dynamax is done. It still does have that Assault Vest, so the Heatran is probably not threatening a bunch of damage onto it. But that Thunderous, now boosted, can probably get some work done.
Yeah, Thunderous protects his turn, doesn't want to take the fake out. Let's see if Heatran does the same. It does not, which is a great read on who you're going to fake out. Earth Power comes out into the Incineroar, knowing that Flare Bliss is going to be enough to KO. Gets the knockout.
Interesting. Very good.
Oh, this is amazing. High Horsepower comes out into the Heatran. This thing's at like plus... no, it's just a +1. It'll be enough to KO. Heatran's too low.
Yeah.
Oh, so Thunderous at +1. Whimsicott has Helping Hand. We know that Bat's last is Tapu Fini. White Tigers can win this still. Oh, and the Leaf Seed damage is still coming out.
Yeah. Which means that this Thunderous is going to be mitigating the hail damage and then some.
So this turn, it looks like Helping Hand Superpower is going to be the play. I think that Bat's best play is like, because the Helping Hand Wild Charge is going to be too much. I think she may need Muddy Water accuracy drop. She may just want to go for a Moonblast and hope that it KOs because Tapu Fini can 1v1 this Whimsicott, I believe.
Right.
If Tigers attacks the Tapu Fini, I don't think they can win. Helping Hand comes out. I believe this should be a superpower into the Glisterior.
I would
Superpower
agree.
Into the Glisterior, gets the knockout.
Let's see, what did this Tapu Fini do?
If Moonblast isn't enough to KO, I mean, it may put it in range of hail damage.
It might.
Thunderous is kind of low. Moonblast comes out.
Your Leech Seed recovery too.
Oh, it's not enough.
Quite enough.
And I think the Helping Hand Wild Charge into a just Moonblast after Moonblast is going to be enough to take out this Tapu Fini.
We'll see. The Tapu Fini does have leftovers, which is a cool item for Tapu Fini.
Yeah, so not out of either player's corner. Going for Protect. I don't think how many turns of hail are left?
I'm not sure.
I think this is the last turn. Moonblast always scary into Defiant Mon is bad. Yeah, if that got the drops that Jeff Devil moved over. Helping Hand Wild Charge into the Tapu Fini, gets the one-hit KO, and Tigers makes a comeback.
Nice. All right. This is what I like to see.
Oh man, this is the stuff that gets me hyped. Tigers seemingly in a really, really bad position a couple of turns into the game, and like a read that went wrong, manages to reposition himself to win.
Yeah, and I think that some of those switches were really smart. I think targeting down the Dusclops so that Trick Room couldn't go up a second time was important, even though he did end up losing the Celesteela. Probably not when he would have liked to.
Yeah, so with the defensive, so Tiger's team is very offensive, it looks like, from like first glance, but there's a lot of really good defensive synergy between the switches, and I'm curious if Bat is just going to need to make a read at some point, and that may be like because if he keeps making these switches and going for these like safe defensive plays, Bat may just have to call what's going to happen at one point in order to win.
Yeah, I think so. Something like predicting a heat trans switch in and maybe, you know, not going for the max ice move on that turn. Because I think it's pretty clear at this point that Bat's game plan is to get Trick Room up and to let Glastrier get some offense boosts and go to town.
Yeah. Let's see what happens. Game 3. Great playing from both people. I'm excited to see where this goes. We got some support from Bat in the chat.
Yeah.
So let's see what these guys got. I'm excited.
Me
Tigers,
too.
Whimsicott and Celesteela as the lead.
All right.
Regilecki and Landorus is the lead from Bat. Let's go.
All right. Well, that Regilecki is going to be threatening some damage onto that Celesteela. But the Celesteela can also threaten some damage on the Landorus. I don't know that this is the position it wants to be in, though.
So a lot of pressure on Celesteela. Regilecki can do a lot of damage. Doesn't want to take a Volt Switch, doesn't want to take an Electro Web. Something like an Airstream or an Electro Web. I imagine Tailwind just coming out.
Interesting.
Neither player choosing to Dynamax. Volt Switch coming out into the Celesteela. It does half damage to it.
Yeah, maybe even 60%. It did a lot.
Bat is going to switch in to the Glastrier, it looks like. And Landorus is going to go for something. I'm not entirely sure what. Leech Seed comes out into the Landorus. That's a really good Leech Seed, especially if something like the... and a Rock Slide comes out, getting so much damage with a crit onto the Whimsicott. I don't think that was the goal. I think it was just trying to break the Focus Sash on it, but that is great damage onto the Celesteela.
Yeah, and I wonder if the Celesteela, after this Leech Seed, I think it will have enough to get behind a substitute. It will definitely after a Protect.
Yeah, definitely after Protect. It can even go for a Leech Seed into the Glastrier. Landorus actually, let's see what happens first. These next couple of turns are going to be really crucial for both players. The Whimsicott Sash is broken, so it looks like a pretty easy KO into that. I mean, something like the Heat Ran can come in, but if you can position yourself appropriately for it,
I think Tigers might have the right idea, though, by those defensive switches. You know, you bait your opponent into, trying for that Chilling Neigh, because this Glastrier this Glastrier really depends on those Chilling Neighs. Yeah. And if we see a max Hailstorm into that Heat Trans spot, that's just a phenomenal prediction or a phenomenal call by Tigers.
Okay, let's see what happens. I'm excited.
I missed it. I didn't see what she clicked.
Oh, okay. We'll see what happens. Oh, I'm so pumped. Okay. So, Celesteela goes for the substitute, gets really, really low. I think the Rock Slide needs to connect if it wants to break it. Rock Slide does connect with both targets, neutral damage onto the Heat Ran and the Celesteela. The substitute takes damage. Landorus takes life orbs. Quake
doesn't break the substitute.
Switch in.
Yeah, that was a really good prediction by Bat.
Mm-hmm. And it gets the knockout through the Shuka Berry. That was an amazing read.
Yeah, that was great. And now Glastrier gets an attack boost as well as a special defense boost from that Max Quake.
Which means this is going to be really, really difficult because Landorus can keep going for Rock Slides into the Celesteela, break the substitute eventually. It looks like both of... Actually, a Bat could even go for like a Rock Slide and a Ice type move into Celesteela. It's probably just going to protect this turn, though, if I had to imagine. Chilling Nay! Very similar to the Beesh Boost.
Yeah, and I think this is really interesting on Bat's part. Bat's saying, "Look, you know what? I don't even need Trick Room. I'm just going to go ahead and max the Ice Horse and start getting it boosted up."
Yeah, so now Tigers just does not have a switch into a max Hailstorm. It will KO Thundurus even in full. He can't switch in his Whimsicott to it. Rock Slide's still doing like decent damage to Celesteela. This could be like a max guard and a protect, but that just kind of buys time.
Yeah.
Beesh Boost Jr. for Chilling Nay. Horse Boost. Oh, I love it. Thundurus and Dynamaxes. It goes for the max guard. Okay. Celesteela goes for a Leech Seed. It missed last year, which is really, really bad.
Yeah. Your Celesteela could have been healing up twice as much.
Goes in, breaks the substitute. Yeah, Glacier does a lot of room work outside of Trick Room just because it's so bulky and it's so hard to kill. And Hailstorm goes into the Thundurus.
Yep. We're going to see a little bit more Leech Seed recovery for this Celesteela.
Yeah.
It's a shame that last Leech Seed on the Glacier missed because the Celesteela would have increased its HP by quite a bit.
Yeah. I think there's no reason to get like fancy with this. You just keep hailstorming the Thundurus. It can't take it, and because Bat has she still has Thundurus, she has Dusclops, she has Regieleki. Knuckle comes out, is gonna need like the biggest crit of all time.
Yeah.
It doesn't do nearly enough.
Yeah.
Builded the team to have the horse outside of Trick Room as well. It works really well with it. I mean, the horse can just be like so unbreakable at times. So still going for another substitute. It's really, really low. That Leech Seed miss onto the Glasteria is really, really bad. Rock Slide does insane damage to Thundurus. Jesus.
Jetlandorus. Wow. And the max Hailstorm does come out from the Glacier, and I think we're going to see another Chilling Nay boost.
Nay. Beesh nay. Is the Life Orb Landorus so much better than I realized? Should I start running that?
I mean...
Horse boost. I'm going to be doing this like all night now. I love it so much. Certain teams allow the horse to be comfortable outside of Trick Room. Celesteela is going to recover some with the leftovers. Whimsicott can't take... we know that Bat's ice move is an Icicle Crash, so Whimsicott doesn't even have the option to dodge it. Oh, Tailwind was up this whole time. I didn't even realize.
Yeah. And Whimsicott is about at half health, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
And because the Regieleki is still in the back and still unharmed, Bat can just let her Thundurus or let her Landorus go down, go for the KO, easy KO into the Whimsicott, and then Thunderbolt into Thunderbolt should be enough to break the Celesteela. And White Tigers would have to get a Leech Seed connect onto it, and then a million protects. Ooh, Helping Hand.
Yeah, I wonder what the Celesteela is going for.
Yeah, Whimsicott accepting the fate that it's just not going to survive this turn.
Yep. So the substitute goes away. The Landorus faints to Life Orb recoil.
And Heavy Slam comes out from the Celesteela. Does it KO? No, I think it needed both the Helping Hand and a crit on top of that. Icicle Spear comes out. Chilling Nay is about to happen.
Is this guy +4 right now?
I believe it's gotten all 3 KOs onto Tiger's team, so it is at +3 at the moment.
But did it use a max knuckle? It didn't.
It did not use a max knuckle. It quaked and then it hailstormed twice.
Yeah.
And now, Regieleki can just come in. And even though this is an offensive Regieleki, Celesteela can set up a substitute, just Volt Switch and then Yeah, it just doesn't survive a Volt Switch. We saw it do half like the first time. It's not plus any
Yeah.
special defense. It didn't get the KO onto Landorus, so it didn't get any Beesh boost. And this is going to be the set going to bat, but like really, really great stuff all around.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun. Tiger's just opting to go for a protect, I guess, just delaying the inevitable, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe just trying to see.
maybe if you can somehow dodge a Volt Switch and recover enough with leftovers, or the Hail Chip crits the Regieleki. It's always good to, try to think of a way to win.
Yeah, for sure. But it looks like just the Volt Switch and the Icicle Spear coming out from Bat's side are gonna do the trick.
Yeah, and Bat just did a really good job of like picking up on, you've been playing very defensively. You've been like switching around all of my chilling Nay boost, which is a great way to play around the horse in general. And like props to Tigers, because he played really, really great too. But it just came down to Bat made the read, and that kind of shifted the game in her favor like tremendously.
Yeah, and if that had been a max Hailstorm into the Heatran, I think we might be talking about a different outcome here.
But yeah, GG's to both player. That was a great set. I personally enjoyed watching it a lot.
Yeah, same.
Oh, and that's a great image to end it on.